Hi everyone, my name is Patrick Arulsingham and I'm a Senior Director at the Office of Auditor General for Western Australia. In this video, we look at two sections of the Audit Readiness Tool, fraud and using the work of an expert. You may be asked to provide information about these areas as part of your audit. In this video, I'm going to take you through some examples of what else has been included in the Audit Readiness Tool. We want to make the audit process more transparent and help you understand why your auditor often asks for the same information every year or why they ask for information that they had not previously requested. The first example is fraud. Fraud is an area of concern for the auditor. The financial statements could be misstated as a result of fraud, which is different from misstatements that may result from errors made. As part of our risk assessment procedures, we need to make inquiries with management and those charged with governance around fraud that may have taken place and any suspected or alleged fraud. This is a specific requirement in the auditing standards. The usual audit practice in relation to fraud inquiries is through written communication and verbal inquiries, such as emails and interviews. However, to make the audit more efficient, we have developed questionnaires that must be completed by accountable authorities, chairpersons, mayors, presidents, internal audit, and management. In addition to direct requests, which confirm underlying controls, these questionnaires will help us understand how the different levels in your entity approach fraud and if any fraud has been identified at your entity during the year. The use of these questionnaires assists us in obtaining an initial understanding of how fraud is addressed and then identify what else should be followed up or discussed with you as the audit progresses. We will also discuss fraud-related matters directly with key personnel during the course of the audit. Next example is using the work of an expert. During the year, you may have used an expert to assist with determining the value of certain items in your financial statements. We, as auditors, often rely on the work of an expert, and when doing so, the auditing standards require us to perform specific procedures on this. This would include assessing the objectivity, competence, qualifications, and experience of the expert, requesting specific information and documentation from them to obtain clarity on specific issues. It is also important to remember that management has the responsibility to ensure that the expert is provided with the correct data and information for them to perform their work. It is important to note that when you engage an expert, that you continue to take ownership of the process, as the figures determined by the expert will be included in the financial statements of your entity. For example, your staff should determine the reasonableness of the expert's conclusion, including their methodology, inputs, and assumptions, and challenge it accordingly. You must also ensure that your expert understands your requirements, i.e., the valuation is required for financial reporting purposes and is compliant with relevant accounting standards, as well as keeping adequate records evidence of their work. Your auditor may have important questions on the process and may need further explanations from the expert. You should also have all evidence readily available for your auditor.